Hello, welcome back to Feline Forensics and the Museum Mystery. Oh yeah, that's right, it wants me to play via controller, doesn't it? I've forgotten it since last time. Alrighty, let's go! I'm so excited. What happened last time? We figured out the student was being a coward as usual. What else did we find out? Not much really. I can't remember that much. We found out that the tourist, no, the punk and the old timer were having a fight. The old timer, pushed the punk. The gun went off. It hit a statue. The statue fell down. And then the punk fell down after it. He dropped the gun into a pond, into a fountain. That caused the fountain to splash everywhere. Also, the tourist dropped it. Well, the tourist gave his camera to the podcaster. The podcaster dropped the camera. The camera took a photo, and now we're waiting on that photo to be developed. Did I miss anything? I don't really think so. What are we trying to actually do now? That's the other question. I guess that we're waiting on this stuff to be developed. Is there anything that we can do while we wait? Like, is there anyone to chat to, or are we just wandering around this area looking for stuff? Because I can wander around this area, but it just depends on whether there's actually anything to do here or not. So when I was in this room, it looks like there's something to examine here, doesn't it? It just is telling me to look at the case, which I can go do. Apparently that's something important. I am sprinting around at the speed of sound. Okay, and these guys we don't really care about. Alrighty, let's go back down. Chat with the mouse. No, chat with the what's it called? The exhibit. There we go. And see what it has to say about stuff. Excuse me, exhibit. This is the pedestal where the stolen gemstone was once displayed. What should I investigate here? The broken case. I have more information about the museum's security system now, so I probably should take a second pass at this. Been assuming the thief used the statue to break open the case because witnesses believe that what triggered the alarm. There's no denying they heard glass shatter and the alarm blaring, but that doesn't mean it was intentional. When the statue was shot and fell, if it landed into the display below, the gemstone would have already been ripe for the taking, unless it was already gone. According to Curator's knowledge of the security system, that leaves us with two possibilities. One, the thief opened the case, which locked the museum doors, and the alarm went off later. Or two, the thief was a registered user with the system, and the doors wouldn't have been locked until the case was accidentally broken later. Unfortunately, there's no way to know which is true right now. Maybe the guard will have further insight on my theory. Well, let's go talk to the guard in that case then, see if he's got anything to say. Alright, guard, tell me. Alright, detective, what can I do for you? Let's start with a few questions, if you wouldn't mind. Additional details. Standing by for inquiry, detective. About the alarm. I look back over the crime scene with special attention to the pedestal of the stolen gemstone, and I have a theory I'd like to run by you. Oh, lay it on me. I believe that when the display case is broken, the gemstone was already missing. From everything you know about the security system, would that be possible? I suppose it could be, detective. That'd be quite the twist. The issue I'm having with my theory is how to actually prove it. Without more clearly defined timing, it's impossible to know for sure. Well, the security system has an interface you get access in our maintenance room, but I can't provide that client a clearance. That's something you'd have to get the curator's approval for, since it's a private business and all that. I was hoping it wouldn't come to that, but if that's what it takes, I'll give it a shot. Until then, I think I might have a few more things to discuss with you before I go. We don't. Goodbye. Curator, give me access to the maintenance room. Of course. Right. Yes, of course. About the back room. The guard mentioned it while we were discussing the security system. I believe access could help crack this case if we could allow it. Preposterous. Everything that happened tonight took place within the public space. No one had access to the maintenance room tonight. Tonight, sure, but what if all of this was set in motion prior? What would you say then? As far as I know, and you can prove, that punk came in to drum up trouble and some other opportunists saw fit to seize their chance. So what would I say to that, you ask? I would still say no. I hope you understand that if I find another means of access, I will have to defy your wishes. And if I find something important there, you can be held liable for destruction. Then so be it. Now move along. I will, of course, but right now there are other things to discuss. There was nothing else. So we need access into the back room. How can we perhaps get access apart from through this here vent? Let's go have a look at the back room, shall we? The back room's back here, right? And then through a door here-ish? No. Okay. Apparently I don't know this museum well enough to be able to actually get access to the back room. What does it say in here, our map? I don't see any back rooms mentioned, so, or any unusual doors. Yeah. What's this? The missing gemstone. We know that. We know that. I have a feeling this is going to crack our case wide open. I have to find a way into this maintenance room. Right. But without he was reluctant to give me his keys. When do you think that we can get access to this maintenance room? And more importantly, where do you think this maintenance room actually is? Because I ain't seeing it. Maybe it's in here, right? This is where all the other rooms are. All of these go somewhere. We don't know. Maybe there's a way outside to it. Perhaps. Let's go have a look, shall we? Maintenance room. Not publicly accessible. Nope. Okay. Where else could a maintenance room be? If I was a maintenance room, where would I be? I guess I could give the police department a call. I can't forgive Jet Spencer's code. Detective, hope the case has come along smoothly. What can I do for you? Okay. So nothing that we can talk to them about now. And we still need to find a way into this here maintenance room. Maybe the guide can tell us. It's a good question. Yes, there we go. Alrighty. Have you put it all together yet, Detective? I'm working on it and hope you might be able to answer a few more questions. What do you want to know? Back room. I've discussed it with the guard and believe it could be incredibly important to solving this case. Would you be able to take me there? It's staff only, though. Do you already have the curator's permission? For the purposes of our conversation now, let's assume yes, I do. Yeah, well, come to think of it, it wouldn't matter either way. And why is that? I embarrassingly misplaced my keys a week ago, so I can't actually get into the maintenance room. The curator said they were going to have a replacement made for me soon, but in the meantime, the guard lends me his as needed. Sorry, Detective, not much help on this front. Maybe you can borrow the guard's keys too? That might not be as easy as you think. Why don't we discuss something else instead? Well, we won't, but now I can go chat with the guard about it. And see if he's got, well, he can give me access if I talk to him nicely. Apparently not. Anyone else here that might be able to tell me about you, the podcaster? You're always stealing stuff. Tell me, do you have access to the back rooms? What about you, old mean? Nope. Who else? Maybe the punk? She was a punk, he did ballet. What more can I say? The Taurus, perhaps? No big info here. Okay. And nothing in my inventory that can give me more clues. What do you think? Audience? Where is these keys? Alright. Okay, perfect. Nothing too important in there. Let's talk to the guard again about these keys. Alright, nothing too important in there. What about you, curator? You got anything more that you can say about these keys? Nope. Alrighty, well, where would be the staff room? Where do you think, if you were a staff room, where would you be? Because you'd think that it would have to be one of the accessible areas. And then you just like climb through one of these, you know? Let me have a read. I have a feeling I'll have to find a way into the maintenance room. Wait for results. What did they? I wonder if it got anything to do with characters right now. Let's have a quick look, shall we? Nothing here, 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 and more importantly, nothing here. There was one, the punk. We can't talk to the punk, he's dead. Ah, the artiste. I thought I'd already come to see you, artiste. Salutations, detective. Have you solved the case? Not quite, but I do have some questions that may help. Additional details. About the back room. I understand this is a stretch, but wouldn't have any idea where it is, would you? You mean the maintenance room for the museum? I can't say I do. However, I might have something that could help you find it. Really? I was mostly just preparing to vent about this investigative roadblock. What do you have? I told you earlier about how the guard bumped into me. It appears he dropped his keys in the process. You can have them if I think it could assist you. Oh wow, unfortunately I can't use a key on a door I can't find, but I'm sure these will come in handy when I do. You're welcome, detective. Feel free to return them once this is wrapped up. Of course, I have no need for them. Yes, thank you. Alrighty. So now we can give those to the, this lady, who was more than happy to show me the, no. Maybe we can show those to the guard. I was going to say the guide was more than happy to show me to the maintenance room, so perhaps we want to have a chat with her. Oh, we've got a few other things as well. Perhaps we can have a look at the keys. There's a ton of them. Oh my god. Oh, we're getting something over here. Let's go this way. No, this way. Aha. Oh, of course, I knew there was something else here. This symbol, it looks like a figure with outstretched arms. Have I said that around here somewhere? Oh, I can find it again. That's probably where this key is meant to be used. You know, this is already an absolute mess, but the lack of labeling makes it even worse. Okay, so person with outstretched arms. Like a Jesus. A person with outstretched arms, eh? Where do you think that would be? If you were in a museum, where would you be? Person with outstretched arms? Perhaps over here? There's this one, of course. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I should have read that one out. I don't actually think I've read that one before. This one is also a figure with outstretched arms. The plaque reads Apollo Belvedere, Sec 130. The statue description as a horse, a classic example of trying to erase its Jew-Oxen heritage. Ah, I see. And this guy's got crossed arms. I don't think there's anything in the modern art, of course, with outstretched arms. Nope. Nothing too crazy in here. What kind of art is your favorite art, audience? I personally, I like modern art enough, but what would be my favorite? I kind of like sculptures a lot, you know? So I'd probably spend all my time in the sculpture garden if I had to stay in a particular area of this museum. No outstretched arms in here. Let's go have a look at this fountain area. Because this has got a lot of art that may have outstretched arms, right? I mean, there's this one. This is obviously The Creation of Fighter by Michael Flamingillo. Considering the artist could fly, the chapel paintings he did are a bit less impressive. If only Michelangelo in the real world could fly, that'd be a good power to have. This is a kind of a figure with outstretched arms as well. There we go. And the plaque reads Failure of the War by Anthony Goatley. This period looks a bit familiar. I drew this one myself. Like the symbol on that labeled key I found. I hate to rearrange the curator's exhibits without permission, but I think that's probably the least of the concerns right now. Well, a keyhole hidden behind the artwork, and it's opened a secret doorway. Now that never gets old. Well, I imagine that they move it fairly often, so I'm gonna imagine that this one's probably a fake. They probably don't want to damage the thing too much, do they? Yes, it led us right into the museum's back room. Oh no, we don't want to be in the back rooms. I see a computer there on the desk. That's probably my best bet to get a hold of the security system data. I'm sure there's plenty of other things to investigate as well, so let's get to it. There is a lot, but before we do that, we've got something else to inspect. No? Well, don't you lie to me in that case. No. There's so much to investigate in the back room than I previously assumed. Okay, perfect. This seems like a pretty storied device of tools and fairly well stocked for a museum. They're all in pretty fine shape too, considering the layer of dust on most of them. Oh, this is a good looking screwdriver. Never know when you're going to need one of those. You're going to take it. I'm also going to move myself. Oh, moving myself is going to be a bit hard. But let's do it, shall we? Whoop. No, that's moving the game. We don't want to do that. Move myself, thank you. There we go. Alrighty. Let's come up here into this corner. Alrighty, there we go. Now we can probably see everything that there is to see. Someone hung a few drawings on the wall here. Rainbows, dinosaurs, and rocket ships are all standard fare for a child with crayons. Looks like the museum and an avian family there too. Not much to go on here, but cute nonetheless. So there was a family that visited here and they had access to the maintenance room perhaps? There's an old photograph hanging here. It's a bit faded, 6 people standing together, perhaps for some sort of occasion. There's a crater in the guard, but I don't recognize the other 3. It might turn out superfluous to the investigation, but I bet I can learn more. And let's have a look at the bookcase before I look at the computer. This case has proven complex enough that I can afford to miss any details. Besides, this bookshelf is arranged far better than the one in my office, so it's much easier to find anything intriguing. Like this, a file folder marked classified. I could never overlook that. Suppose it's not unusual for a museum to keep sensitive documents, but these are redacted so excessively even for a contract. Set one phone number? Weird. Wonder who's on the other end. I should give it a call. I'll give it a call later, but for now... this feels a bit familiar, doesn't it? I hope I won't have to deal with 2 password fiascos in one night. Nope, it's unlocked. Quite the stroke of luck. Now let's see about the security system. Most of the data here is obscure, probably encrypted. It's supposed to sound they justify keeping it unlocked. But it's most certainly a record archive. I can make out entries for exhibit openings, door locking, and the alarm being triggered. Unfortunately, user information isn't revealed. There's no clear indication of who or what these signals are from. It looks like there's an export data function and it doesn't require an administrator's override. I'll have this data to the station and decrypt it in no time. For such a sophisticated system, this seems pretty easy. Oh, because it's exporting to a floppy disk. Well, biggest can't be choosers. I've got what I need. Oh no. It's a floppy disk. 1 floppy for the information? God, it must be a tiny file. What's the maximum size for a floppy? Like 64 bytes? Maybe 128 bytes? I can't remember. Kilobytes? 128 kilobytes I think might have been the maximum. Alright, let's go back down. We want to go to the... Oh, hello. Right. Additional details. About this old photo. You wouldn't happen to recognize any of the people pictured here, would you? Aside from the obvious. Oh dear, now that's a face I didn't expect to see when I woke up this morning. Oh, and who was that? The gentleman there on the right side. He's an investor. One of unscrupulous morals. We've only crossed paths a couple times, and I'd consider myself lucky to never do so again. Quite the strong opinion. Well, I have other inquiries to make. I do not. Goodbye. See you later. How did you reckon they got their Banksy? Oh, the curator as well. I have not put it all together yet. Tell me about these people. About this old photo. I see you pictured in as the curator and the guard. Can you tell me more about the others? Oh yeah, for sure. There's the historian there, although after I was hired, it wasn't too long before she left. Regardless, in that short time, I looked up to her vast expertise. It was like she just knew everything about art history. About culture even. Anthropology. Do you know why they decided to part ways with the museum? No, I don't. It was pretty unceremonious. In fact, I came in from my shift one day and then realized it had been a couple of weeks since I saw them last. Okay, I'll have to keep asking around. Till then, would you mind talking with me? No, I would not want to keep on talking with you. You. I knew that you would have something to say. About this old photo. I doubt you wouldn't know much about it, but do you recognize anyone other than the museum staff pictured here? The gentleman there looks like some kind of technician. Does that help, detective? I can't operate solely on assumptions and impressions, but it's the thought that counts. Yes, that is what they say. If you learn more, I would be interested to know. I'll do my best. Bye. See you later. I'm off. Woohoo! Do you, old timer? Yes, I thought you might as well. Don't know why I didn't look at you earlier. Alrighty, I'll skip the pleasantries. Can you tell me about this old photo? I was wondering if you could tell me more about this person pictured here, the historian. Yeah, sure can. She was an absolute fount of knowledge. No one could shut down the critics' insistent debating faster. Huh! You know why they parted with the museum? Aside from being destined for greater heights than this, I don't know the details, but I always heard it was a budget issue. If you want my opinion, it was the best thing that could have happened to him. I wouldn't have been surprised if they volunteered. Interesting. Do you know what's happened to them since? I heard that we were heading up a department in Washington, D.C., one of those national museums. I see, unlikely to be connected to tonight's events. Then let's see if I have any more questions for you. I don't. Goodbye, mister. And we've got, more importantly, the two staff members. They could probably tell us a lot about everything, though they might not want to. Now that they know that we've been investigating this stuff. Oi, detective, what can I do for you? Additional details. About your keys. These keys? What about them? Wait a minute. You have your keys on you? Well, yeah. Can't you see them holding them right in front of you, detective? Oh, you are, aren't you? Doesn't look like the developers gave you that animation, but they're right there in stunning detail. the developers? Ah, don't worry about it. That's not even the strangest part. If you have your keys, then whose do I have in evidence right now? Never mind, just forget it. We should move on anyways. It'd be the guys, right? And more additional details. What can you tell me about this photo? I noticed the museum's current stuff, but I'm not sure about the others. What can you tell me about them? Oh well, I never got my own copy of this photo. We took it at the staff dinner. Must have been a couple of years back now. That older fella there, that's a mechanic, but he's sadly passed away now. I guess seeing him again kind of hit me all at once, you know? Oh, my apologies, I didn't know. It's okay, detective, I just wish you could have met him. I think you would have gotten around well. He was mighty grumpy. But he had a heart of gold, and I tell you, he loved this museum. As much as he complained about it. Ah, yeah, I know the type. I'm sorry for your loss. It's alright, time moves on, and so do we. And hey, if there's a way I could get a copy of that photo, when this is all over, I'd appreciate it. I'll see what I can do. Why don't we discuss other matters for now? We won't. But I will talk to the curator. Okay. Curator. No, never mind. About those drawings. Tell me about these drawings. Excuse me, what drawings do you mean? In the maintenance room, there were a handful hung on the wall. In crayon, I believe. Oh, it's strange to understand why you would ever need to know anything about that. Does your snooping understand no discretionary bounds? This case has proven very complex, Curator. I need to understand any possible angle or motive from everyone. Well, my son isn't one of your suspects. He's quite young, and I do not see him enough anymore. Until you can look at me with a straight face and prove pinning his scribbles on the wall is a crime, don't ask me about it again. I'll ask about something else instead. I'll ask about this old photo. I found it while investigating. I recognize you and the other museum staff, but could you tell me more about the other 3 people pictured here? Unfortunately, this is another scenario where my wings are tied, Detective. I'm not at liberty to disclose the details of their identities. They were, in one way or another, all associated with the museum in the past, but I can't say any more than that. So I wonder how you get anything done these days with so much red tape laid around. Like you wouldn't believe. Yes, there's always another question. Tell me about the Longs. I exported them from the museum's security system. Ultimately, there's no need to disclose this, but I thought it was the right thing to do. I'm offended that you would subvert my authority, Detective, but I'm willing to look the other way on this. I understand you are just operating in the best interests of myself and the museum, so I can't fault you for that. I'm operating in the best interests of truth, which these shall facilitate. Oh yes, sorry me. In the pursuit of justice and all that, how could I forget? I don't see how you'll make use of them when they're stored on their floppy disk, but do what you must. I'll do my best, you can count it there. For now there's more that I'd like to discuss. Except, I'm going outside for a smoke break. I'll see you in the next one. Alrighty. Can you tell me about this, the police department first? Tell me about the alarm. Officer, I hate to be at a convenience, but I have something else to send to the lab. Officer, no sense in making your way around, so here I am. Huh? What you got there, Detective? Is that a real-life CVAC? Yep, it is. What? No, it's a floppy disk. The museum security system uses them for some reason, but I have no way to decrypt it. Oh, if you're right, this isn't going to fit in a USB slot or a CD drive. Oh, ask one of those older officers about it. They'll know how to hack it. After a while, I'll call for an update. Sounds like a plan. I'll get these logs back to you as soon as I can. Oh, unless my lusts run dry, this could lead to another breakthrough. And let's call the strange number. Amongst all that redacted information, anyone could be on the other end. Thank you for calling Finnick Financial, your trusted partner in financial and creative services. Unfortunately, our office is currently closed. If you're a current client, you may dial your extension now and leave a message. Your account manager will return your call as soon as possible. If you're a prospective client, please leave your name, number, and a brief message. A member of our team will reach out to you soon. Thank you, and we look forward to bringing your artistic dreams to life. Record your message after the beep. An investment firm, huh? Yes, it makes sense for a museum to seek some reliable funding. Why all the secrecy? Doubt the curator will give me anything. Any chance is slim that one of the other subjects knows about Feline Financial, but it's worth trying. Well, we can try. We've also got something in the X menu that we want to look at. Something to do with the curator. A motive. Sell off the registered an insurance fraud or embezzlement string. Well, I don't think that that is necessarily true. We know that, do we know anything? Not really, do we? To dispute this at the moment. But it's something that we can remember. We got more words. I will look at those a little bit later when we've got some evidence. And we've got some confidential files. Someone had left a phone number. Private investment firm, yep. And the historian, the mechanic, and the investor. But it's unclear if the investor is still in association. Well, we just found out that the investor is probably still in association. So it looks like we can dispute this with the curator now, the motive. But let's do that later. Now tell me about the files. I have reason to believe tonight's events may have been influences by outside forces, and these documents have strengthened that suspicion. Unfortunately, there isn't much left for me to investigate. Could you tell me more about them? I'm afraid you're wasting your time, and mine for that matter. Those are very standard for an institution such as this one. Then why go through the effort of redacting so much of them? It was the investment fund's policy, so I obliged. They kept the museum afloat, so I didn't argue. Nor do I believe there was any reason to. Seems extreme for what you're describing, that this isn't my specialty, so I'll take your word for it. But I'd like to get your word on something else if you wouldn't mind. I would not. Who else will perhaps know about that? Perhaps the, what's his name? The old timer. Let's go have a chat with him. What about you, tourist? You got anything to chat about? Nope. Bye then. Aha, the curator does. Alright, tell me about the investor. Must we, detective? I simply have nothing positive to say. I have reason to believe he might be intertwined with this, so I'm doing my due diligence in the matter, that is all. Intertwined? It wouldn't surprise me if he had an icy grip on it, detective. That's his business. That casts financial praise on downtrodden artists, failed institutions, and any client they can swindle. Of course, everything starts to look up in the beginning, and you put even more trust in them. The good days won't stop. Then it's a miscalculation and unfortunate circumstances, and before you know it, you're in more debt than you can imagine, and only one way out. Trust the process, a process that's designed to eat you alive forever. I have nothing positive to say on the matter. I may regret answering, but I must. Is this a personal matter for you? Art is personal. It's human, wonderfully flawed. And those corporate suits only understand cold, destructive, and disturbingly calculated. I can't say I understand, but I like to think I can empathize. I'm not sure what to say, but I'll move on to a different discussion. Okay, and we've now got all the words for a Y as well. But before we do that, let's chat with the artist, because I thought he might have something today. Salutations, detective. Have you solved the case? I do have some... I hate to be too persistent on the matter, but are you positive you don't know anyone pictured here? I've given that some thought, and I feel guilty. Would you be allow me to be honest with you? I don't know why I can bring myself to say so, but the technician I pointed out there, he was my father. He was? Oh, I see. I'm sorry for your loss. I respect your kind words, but they're not required. Some of my very early memories are within this museum, and the time before the curator took over. He loved this place even with how infrequently he acknowledged it. I knew what he meant when he said there was no reason to ever retire. I spoke to the guard about him and he said as much. It sounded like he was well respected. Yes, I believe he was, but after many years retirement was chosen for him. Didn't live long after that. He always said if I sit down now I'm not going to be able to stand back up, but I never took that literally. My dearest apologies, I didn't mean to open all wounds. I know it can be hard. I hope you wouldn't mind if I move on to another topic before I go. Let's go have a chat with these fellows first and see if we can get any information out of them. No? Okay. Bye then. See you later. And finally the podcaster, before we get into anything right now. Okay. The podcaster as well has nothing to say. Alright, firstly, let's try to figure out how we can dispute the curator's motive. So sell off the rare gemstone in an insurance fraud or an embezzlement scheme. Well, he wouldn't have contacted the police if he did that, right? And also, I don't think he's stupid enough to do that. Perhaps the alarm logs, the fine bullet, the camera, classified documents, the gun, the medication, and the statue pieces. What we know is that the guard was with him at all times, right? But I've said something that clarifies my original theory. What was it? You found something. The classified documents. Ah, I see. That made sense. Embezzlement was an assumption, and probably a pretty extreme one at that. But for the creator to pay off the museum's debt with the gemstone, now that is certainly plausible. Aha, there we go. We've also got this point. I'll just wait for the results. When I critic about the investment foreman told me their negative reputation preceded them. Apparently they're known for being predatory and underhanded. Okay. So private investment conglomerate. Including the, yeah. Okay, so they're probably still funding. I discussed it with the curator as well and could recognize registered users. Security system does log every interaction it witnesses, and with these database logs, I'm one step closer to cracking the case if I can figure out what they mean. Okay, at this point I'll just have to wait for results. Okay, so let's have a look at this in this case. It was by the... in the photo, this will be the photo. We'll start here first and we'll do the easy ones and then we'll do the hard ones later. So, in the photograph was the renowned blank and the shady investor, right? The renowned historian. Yes. The grumpy manager. Not manager, mechanic, sorry. And the shady investor. It seems the... put the blank into blank, but nothing was blank. Conversely, the blank will be blank by the blank to learn more. The floppy disk. Do we have the floppy disk as a thing? No. What else would it be? Concrete or log will be analyzed by the... What do you think? Analyzed? Hacked by the police to learn more. So, do we have the police? Police. These are objects, actions. Pearson's artist commissioner, perhaps. Officer. That makes more sense, doesn't it? There we go. Alrighty. It seems that... It seems that... Well, like, all of these are ED words, right? Or... so you'd say, like, argument or the, like, thing like that. But it does seem like that this has put the museum into debt. But nothing was confirmed, right? Actions. Locked open room, self-tried, tripped, struck, stabbed, shot, retreated. Met. Fought. Fell. Destroyed. Was revealed. Aha, there we go. And then it's like, it seems like the deal between the curator and the investor. So now we just need like deal. Or agreement or something like that. Contract. Yes, perfect. Alrighty. We are solving it. Oh, I'm in the way of the first one. I don't want to move myself again. Because there's really not... Oh, maybe I'll move myself back down to bottom right. You guys don't need to see anything down bottom right, surely. Maybe I'll make myself tinier. Whee! There we go. Perfect. Alrighty, there we go. Okay. There was an old photograph. A strange, that would be like the contract, right? And the computer. On the desk. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily say this, would you? Alarm artifact. You just say accessible from the computer. Film, redemption, glass case, scan key, logs, painting, password, phone. Accessible from the logs on the computer. All files. Okay, so that one is logs. The computer on the computer. We got a computer on the computer. Antiquities. Aha, here we go. This is desk. There we go. I knew that there was desk somewhere. I just didn't think it was in locations. Okay. Okay, I've got this one as well. Right. It is maybe like a strange key. A key opened the blank. Objects key. And then actions will be opened. The door to the maintenance room. Antiquities backroom. On the first floor. Oh, on the fine art balcony, or yeah. So it was natural history balcony, wasn't it? It was maybe located or found. It was revealed by the maybe like by the drawing from the key. I don't like it. Maybe painting. Yeah, gross. Okay, let me think about this for 2 seconds. Key opened. Let me just pause my recording while I think about it. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, I had a little bit of thought about this. I think it's a sculpture head, right? A sculpture head. Let's try that. A sculpture hid the door. On the sculpture balcony, it was... And then it was dropped by the artist. Well, it was dropped by the guard, I guess. So it was opened by the key from the artist. Perfect already. Oh. Aha! I knew I was onto something. Only the best cases of secret rooms and mysterious figures. This one even had redacted documents. Doesn't get better than that. Let's keep digging. We're exceptionally lucky we're uncovering something paranormal too. Come to think of it, I should check with the office again about that film. It might have been developed by now. Alrighty, let's go do that. Because we probably don't have too much else to talk to people about. we want to go down to the front desk, and I've decided that I'll run all the way around the block to be able to do that. Alrighty, front desk officer, what do you got to tell me? Nothing. But, oh, never mind. I did do the thing where I walk immediately back into the building. Just because the directions change when you work out. Alrighty. Tell me about the film. I'm just checking back up on that film you pick up. How's that going? Oh yeah, good news. I just got word from the lab that it's done. I'll be right over to show you. Can you just describe? Good evening again, detective. You know, you could have just told me the important details over the phone. You didn't have to drive out here again. Ah, but a picture's worth 1,000 words. Have you ever heard that, detective? Well, as for this one, the angle is a bit skewed and looks like it was taken in motion, so it's a bit blurry, but if you look right here, there's a tail, a thin white tail. The student in the sculpture gallery. According to his testimony, it would have been in the foyer where this photo was taken. That's a lie. You know, I've asked for a bit of breakthrough, officer. This really was a huge help. And you get back in there post-haste. Go for it, detective, and if you need anything else, don't hesitate to call again. Yes, everything's coming together now. Got what annoying voice I did for the detective in the first one. So the student lied to me. The podcaster. The fighting continued, however, when the alarm said that the startling noise caused the podcaster to drop the camera. Well, that does not take place with this evidence of the photograph. I see, that makes sense. Of course she would have told me about the photo, considering how badly she wanted to hold on to the film. All's well that ends well, though. This film is just the thing I needed to crack this case wide open. Yes, I agree. Do we reckon we can examine this film? No. White tail in the sculpture exhibit. And caught on film is our, like, little breakthrough. One thread inside, another thread unravels. Right. Well, let's go chat with the student. Tell him he's lying. He was there in the sculpture gallery with the knife. I'm innocent, I swear. Every time you say that about today's event. Is that important? I don't think it is. Let's not do that. Would you mind taking a look at it and telling me what you see? Well, I don't really see much to it. It's pretty blurry. What about right here? Does this thin white tail look familiar to you? Are you trying to say that's my tail? Yes, it does look pretty similar, but what of it? By all my calculations, this would put you in a pretty interesting place at a pretty interesting time. I don't know what you're talking about. Sure, you can see my tail, but there's no way to tell what's going on out of frame. As much as I have to deny it, the implication is too strong. Giving you a chance to confess here before it's too late. Nothing to confess. I'm innocent. So until proven guilty, isn't it? You're right, so I'll just have to prove it. Until then, I have other questions. Oh, okay, detective, if you say so. Can we look in his bag and see if he's got the gem? Come on, detective. Get together. That accident photograph proves I should investigate every potential hiding place, and this one is a prime suspect. With this screwdriver, I should be able to... Aha! Gasp, I found it. The Optimus Diamond. And in an air duct. Be careful now, this gemstone is worth more than all 9 of my lives. Mentally into evidence with you. What's this? There's something else in here? A rolled canvas? Wait a second, even I recognize this. But isn't this supposed to be hanging in the fine art gallery? Oh no, I got the sinking feeling this case isn't as close as I thought. I should show this to an expert I can trust. Well, there's only one expert I can trust, and that's the guide. And she's got an easy to do voice. So the mouse, he now knows that the student attempted to hide as he heard a terrible sound of scraping glass. That's wrong. We've got the evidence to prove that he did not attempt to hide. It is a photograph. No. It was the... where am I? Yes, thank you. Testimonies of the student. Oh, well, we've actually found a grant, didn't we? The diamond. Aha, I see, that makes sense. Of course he was trying to hide the diamond he had stolen. He stashed it in the air duct, but he couldn't have come up with this blackout plan on the fly, right? No, he couldn't have. Have you put it all together yet? Yes, I have, pretty much. about this artwork. I've discovered it under strange circumstances. Would you mind looking it over for me? Oh, I hope the strange circumstances were taking it off the wall and out of its frame. No, not as simple as that. The exhibit is still hanging right where you last saw it. That's because... the original's still hanging there because this one's a counterfeit. The inconsistencies are subtle, especially in this style. Why would something like this be here, Detective? You know, don't you? I have my suspicions, but nothing definite yet, I'm afraid. So the punk and the student were working together to steal the artwork and blame it on someone else. Or they steal the artwork and replace it with a counterfeit. I don't like this one bit. If you find out more, you'll tell me, right? Only what I'm at liberty to disclose, but I'll continue to rely on your expertise as needed. Well, if I were you, I'd look out for any other artwork you've come across tonight. Who knows what else could have been missed? Good idea, but until then, I might have a couple more things for us to go over. Okay, so yeah, definitely a stolen piece of artwork there. We can... it's this one upstairs. Of a famous canvas painting. Found station near duct. What else around here could be falsified? Well, we can have a go look at upstairs and see if anything else in the fine art exhibit has been stolen. Perhaps the artist can tell us more about stuff as well. So it was this one here. Any other arts? No. None that point out to me as potentially being stolen. I reckon the Mona Lisa. Artist, where are you? You're normally in this room? Okay, you got nothing to tell me about. Alrighty. Podcaster, perhaps we can chat with her about stuff. The other person would be the critic, right? This is the... What should I investigate here? The exhibit placard. The packet reads Optimus Diamond, circa 1700. You really gave me the runaround, didn't you, precious little stone? Regardless, I'm glad you strayed. And... tell me about the debris. You know, there are plenty more pieces of the statue laying about. Perhaps I should take the time to look over at least one more. It's slightly just wishful thinking on my part, but it couldn't hurt. Yeah, let's do it. Let's have a look. The statue. Okay. Nothing too important here. Anything on the bottom? There's a cat. A hidden cat on the bottom. Nothing that's vibrating. Oh, there we go. Okay, it was the cat. Oh, of course, I knew there was something else here. Second examination was necessary. I knew it all, though, a bit later than maybe I should have. But there's no use dwelling on that now. This is an indication of forgery. A strange one, but I bet the guard would know more. Well, we'll talk with her in a second, but firstly, you. Hey there, detective. I have some questions for you, and please keep all of this between us. About today's events. About that film. I sent it to the station and had it developed. Most of the photos weren't relevant, but this one, do you notice anything interesting about it? I hate to say this, detective, because I don't want to burst your bubble or anything, but it's real blurry. That's because it was taken in motion, falling from someone's frightened pillows. Oh, I see what you did there. Is this your way of telling me I was holding back important evidence? You super can't blame me though, right? Like I could have gone so viral with that film. Actually, with the chances I can get a copy, you'd do that for me, wouldn't you? I've already turned the film over to the police, so no, I don't think I'll be doing that. So lame. Apologies, let's move on now. Well, she hasn't got too interesting stuff to tell me, but, you know, I always like talking with the podcaster. She's probably my favorite character, even though she's useless. And a thief. And everything like that. Guide, talk to me. The guide I like as well. Additional details. What do you want to know? I want to know about this artwork. Now, my suspicions with this one, but I'd like you to confirm, just in case. These pieces are the miniature Moai statue? Wait, you had a right to be just suspicious, detective. Just look at this scam. It must also be a fake, or what's left of it anyway. That makes 2 counterfeit art pieces here in the museum, and this one was on display. You really think it could have been replaced by someone? You must have some idea. At this point, I think it's clear there was something else going on behind the scenes, but I'm not sure what. For now, I have a couple other things we could go over instead. I do not, but I do have more interesting information. Certainly more words to put in the notebook here. Student. What do you got to tell me about stuff? Okay, about the diamond. Detective, I saw you open the air duct over there. I know you've already found the diamond, so you don't have to be so dramatic. Once you had that photo, I knew my time was up, so cut me or whatever you have to do. Luckily for you, this case isn't closed yet. I have a few threads that still need pulled, so you'll have to a bit longer until I draw conclusions. Whatever you say, Detective, but I don't see how else this could really go. Before I go, I have to ask, how did you do it? It was easier than you'd think. Well, not too easy, considering we couldn't pull it off, but still. The punk opened the display and I took the diamond. Then he went upstairs to create a distraction for me. But there, I just had to wait it out for the foyer to be empty and make my way out. But I heard the gunshot go off. We agreed it was only a last resort. I know he wouldn't have killed anyone, but it made me hesitate. When I decided to leave him behind, the doors were already locked. The security system was supposed to recognize him, but I guess that didn't work. So I moved to the backup plan, tried to wait it out. I see, guys. I have plenty more questions about this entire situation, so there's no sense in stopping now, shall we? Oh, okay, Detective, if you say so. What made you think that the punk should be recognized by the system? That's what I want to know. Why did you do it? What kind of question is that, Detective? If I have a really good reason, it's not like it'd suddenly be okay. No, probably not, but it can help me build a better picture of what happened, and sometimes that can help. So please be honest with me. Well, it's worth a lot of money, you know. Split 2 ways, even 3, 4, 5 ways, that's still a ton. This is going to sound so cliche, but with that kind of money, the punk could have finally paid for his surgery. Surgery? For what sort of condition? Something with his heart. Don't know much about the really intimate details. They don't bleed red. They have a weak pulse. Some motion deficiency. Look, I'm not a doctor, and frankly, I don't hold up well to anything medical. It's just bad, okay? This was the only way we could have really fixed it, I think. Sounds a lot more redeemable, they say, buying a tropical island somewhere. Don't you think? Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter now. Perhaps it doesn't. Personal questions. What about your student loans? About the punk? You said you were friends. Would you mind telling me a bit more? I don't know what there is to say if you're just fishing for more evidence. Well, I don't have anything to say either. No, I was just hoping you could tell me more about him. Would that be okay? Like what? He was a punk through and through. All my other friends from university said it was just bad influence. Maybe they were right. He was absolutely got me tied up in all of this, didn't he? No, that's not fair. Besides, I've known him for far longer than anyone, so what do they really know? How long did you know each other? How did you meet? We're just kids, meet like any other two kids do. I don't remember what it was exactly. Probably trading cards or a video game. Kid stuff. Stuff that bullies would make fun of you for, at least until they get a swift right hook to the nose. Heh. He had your back. I can understand now. And I had his. Oh, I was supposed to. At least enough to hold him back. Detective, I know this will sound strange, but I just don't want to hold on to this right now. It's hard to look at. Can you take it? What is? Actually, that doesn't matter right now. Of course I can hold on to it. You shouldn't blame yourself for what happened. I know it's not easy, but I hope you can trust me on that. Now, there are more things we can go over if you're up for it. Additional details. About this painting. I happened to find it alongside the gemstone. Did you have anything to do with it? You have to trust me, Detective. But this time I'm telling you the truth when I say I have no idea why that was in there. So you noticed it was in there earlier this evening? I did, but there wasn't enough time to think about it. Has it stumped you as much as it stumped me? Unfortunately, yes for now. After I make more inquiries with you, I'm going to get back to investigating it. Okay, Detective, if you say so. And any other additional details about your plan. How did you know to hide the diamond in the sculpture gallery? We started on it beforehand. No, it might seem like we're just a pair of amateurs, especially since everything fell apart. We gave it some thought. Just look at me. What am I even saying? Trying to just say that I'm good at being a criminal. The truth is we were hired to do it, but only the punk ever communicated with them. And they were prepared to deal with pretty much every contingency. They knew it all, except for the security system, I guess. Well, they told us about it, but the punk figured out how it actually worked so we could get around it. I had his ID into the system remotely. It seemed really easy to accomplish in the moment, but in retrospect, that's why we had a backup plan. And that was, if for some reason I couldn't get to the front doors, or they were locked, which they were, I was supposed to go into the sculpture gallery and put it into the air duct. Whoever hired us was willing to have someone come through and pick it up later, but that's all we were told. So presumably they had another means of entry. Perhaps they just needed someone to get it out of the display. Strange. I mean, whatever you think, Detective. Like I said, we had pretty explicit instructions, and it seemed like whoever they were, they had lots of contingencies. Nice management thesis is right. I've got a few other topics to address before I move on. Okay, this is all very interesting. So, it sounds like he was probably hired by either the investor or the curator, wanting to pay the investor off because the investor was putting screws on him. And I'm guessing that he was moving real artwork to become fake artwork to also pay the investor off. Um, about today's events during. About the diamond. What about it, detective? Have you finally figured out what happened? To an extent I have. You're pleased to know that I've recovered the jewel. Oh my, wonderful. It can be returned to its podium and we can call it a night. Unfortunately, more questions have raised in the process. I'm going to need to keep it for a bit and continue my investigation. This better not be some bureaucratic tomfoolery you're pulling. Although I suppose the display case is broken, so the diamond might be more safe in your care. For now, I appreciate your understanding. I don't want to act too hastily and allow something like this to occur again. That is I hadn't considered. Fine, don't push your luck. You've already been sniffing outside my authority, and I've excused it thus far. As I said before, I must have be done in the name of true justice, however long it takes. Although the officer probably has some crucial evidence ready that could speed this investigation up for you, Creator. Before I go check on that, I'd like to discuss other matters. I would not. Okay, we've got enough words to be able to solve this stuff now. So let's have a read through all of these before we do that. When asked the question about the negative reputation, right, the forgery, hidden in the air duct, then was the statue. Alrighty. Yeah, the statue was been waiting for 2 results to come in, but with 2 major leads closed, they might be ready. Right, this is about the photo. Okay, let's solve it while we're here. Okay, the blank was going to be blank. Okay. The student, okay, according to the blank there was blank, and blank from the was also a blank. Okay. The This is a forgery, right? This forgery, counterfeit. There we go. There's also a counterfeit. Okay. And this is according to the critic, or the guide. According to the guide, that painting was counterfeit. Or, yeah, painting was counterfeit. The statue that was dropped, shot and fell from it. Right, the statue that was shot and fell from the thing. That was shot and fell from the... Maybe this is easier with the keyboard. Balcony. Balcony, balcony, balcony. Okay, perfect. Alrighty. Okay, so this is... So the student hid the diamond. Hid the diamond. In the... Well, it's like... In the sculpture exhibit, or fine art exhibit, great. It's sculpture exhibit, right? Exhibit. Right. Air duct. There we go. Where a painting was also hid. Dashed, I guess. Alright. However, according to the student, right? Causing the door to be locked, maybe? I want to go have a look if we've got the logs back here. Because I think that's like, according to the logs, yeah, we do. Okay. Okay, so about the alarm. Has anyone at the station been able to crack this log yet? You're in luck, they just cracked it, and let me tell you, there's a lot here. Bad news is, there's far too much for me to relay over the phone. Oh, officer, you really don't have to come over here to the museum again, it's fine. Wasn't planning on it. Oh, the lake told me they could, under no circumstances, print out all these logs and take them to you. Something about 8 months off the station's patient budget, but it's searchable at least. If anything you think I could cross-reference with these logs, that would give me a good place to start. I don't think so. What should I be looking for? From the looks of it, there's timestamps, exhibits, and registered aliases, among other things. Pretty difficult to pass. Searching for a registered username would probably be easiest, so I guess I'll call back when I have something like that. I'll be here, detective. I decided to pick up an overnight shift so I could keep helping out. Where am I going to find a username in all this museum mess now? Perhaps the student knows, because he was the person that did it. He was the one that put the information into the computer system, right? No. Never mind. Do I have you to talk to? My good friends? Nope. How about the guide? The guide wouldn't know anything, would they? Nope. Okay. Let's go up to the maintenance room and see if there's anything in there. There we go. Perfect. We're in there. Computer. Okay. So nothing in here. Alright, let's go back to solving in that case. The student was going to be... The blank, the blank of the blank into the blank. So the blank could be blank. That's a lot of blanks. Let's read for a second. I'm gonna read some stuff. But I won't involve this either, but you add complex decisions or blah blah blah. I can search the log for a username. I will have a lead, but where can I find something like that? Hidden there inducted then was a statue. Right. And one from an air duct. Phone number, negative reputation. Right. And what was the other piece of evidence that we had? What else around here could be falsified? Student attempted to steal it. His pen, however, went sideways, forcing him to forcing him to stash it. Right. So the student attempted to steal the thing. Hidden hallway. Right. You got that. Okay. Let's put that all in now, shall we? Oh, this will be a person, right? According to the blank. His ID, maybe? According to the blank student, his ID was denied or counterfeit. Let's do some more investigating. Perhaps we need to go down to the body and have a look. Flight reads Wolf Over the Sea of Fog by Caspar Darwin Frogridge. So it's a mysterious figure. What was he contemplating? What tortures his melodramatic soul? I long to know. There's going to be something. It tells us, right? Maybe a log. Maybe punk. Where are the punk's details? Perhaps it's in there. Because we got the receipt right. The punk also had a whole bunch of this stuff. Aha, there we go, yes. Let's see if we can find an ID. There? Yes. Aha. Oh, of course, I knew there was something else here. From the looks of this isn't your typical license. In fact, it doesn't even have his legal name printed anywhere on it. Looks more like an Indian alias or something. Oh, could an alias like this be searchable in the security logs? I should have the officer check for it. Yes, aha. Perfect. Alrighty, so we were missing something. So I need to remember that even though we've got all of the words, we don't necessarily have all of the information. Who should I call? The police department. Alrighty. About the alarm. Where did we stand on those security alarms again? At the moment, I'm just waiting on some search terms to try. Have you found any? I think so, but I have a feeling I know what's going to come back. Could you try XX Monkey Wrench XX? That's definitely a unique one. Oh wow, I see it right here. This thing even keeps fingerprint records. Makes sense. Look at that, I have an entry here that says the user mentioning that ID opened the gemstones display case earlier tonight. Good work as always, Detective. Well, assuming that's the outcome you were hoping for. Yeah, it was, yes, but more of a confirmation at this point. The student always confessed to hacking the punk's credentials into the system. I may have spoken that too. That the username was registered, but then it was removed. Whoever did the removing was only registered a few minutes prior. And get this, Detective, that new mystery user, they opened 3 exhibits tonight, none of which were for the diamond. Oh my, can you derive any identifying information from their credentials? Ah, the username is just a jumbled mess of characters. Maybe we could decode it, but I have a feeling that won't get us far. I'll say we're working against someone who has a whole plot perfectly planned. You're right, it won't be that simple. If you say so, I'll always be here if you need. Like a felt fresh in a string. Every time I get close, it gets yanked away, huh? Well, what were those 3 things? He entered the museum, found his initial... Well, that's wrong. We know that for certain, due to the logs. What was it? The logs? Yes, okay. Of course, I knew the student intended to meet with the punk, but it wasn't just for a nice stroll through the exhibits. They meant to make sure the hack security system would let the punk open the gas case and allow the student to take the diamond. Okay. And what else did we get? We got... It was put into high alert. I found that the security system was tripped because it didn't recognize the punk opening in the case. His ID was replaced by someone. There we go. The gun. Hidden in the adult, well, there was the statue. So perhaps the statue was also hidden in an air duct. Perhaps we can figure out where this air duct was. Because the statue, the Natural History Museum place is up here, right? Was there any air ducts around here that potentially could have caused this? Yes, there is. Aha, there we go. Alrighty, let's open this up. This air duct has been witness to some pivotal moments of the evening, huh? Well, let's just get it open and see what it can tell us. Just one more screw and got it. Look at that, a stone-faced statue. Never saw the exhibit in one piece, but this seems identical. There's no strange shape on the underside, so it's safe to assume this is the original. The one down there was a replica. Something else in here too. Not canvas though, it just looks like a piece of paper. It's a note, neatly written, but I'm not sure what it means. Back on a classic trail of clues, Detective, just like the old days. Well, can we have a look at that piece of paper? Aha! When investigating the doesn't look like a phone number. It's a bit too obscure to read through any police departments. Could there be someone that recognizes it? Well, we can go ask people. Perhaps the critic recognizes it. Because I imagine it's got something to do with the investor. Or maybe, aha. I have got an idea. I saw that the tourist wanted to talk about something as well. So we could go to talk to him in a minute. But let's talk to the old timer first. Alrighty. Additional details about this medication. You know anything about it? Not for any particular reason, such as your advanced age. You weren't supposed to say that. Huh! Let me take a look. Yeah, I think so. Might have been one of those drugs my doctor recommended. What did they prescribe it for? Do you remember? They didn't prescribe it first of all. I don't need to depend on a bunch of pills. Certainly don't want to keep track of them all. Sure, but what did they attempt to prescribe it for? Blood pressure, I think. Doctor mentioned something about anxiety, but I was already tuned out. You don't say. Well, thanks. Right, okay. So we know that the medication that the student was taking was for anxiety. Okay. I kind of wish the red circle didn't show up when we haven't got all of the information yet. Can you tell me about the additional details about this note? Doesn't look like much to me. A string of 10 random numbers. Do you recognize them? No, I don't think so. We have internal identifications for the exhibits here. Not familiar with anything in this format. Yeah, wishful thinking, I suppose. Never that easy these days. Alrighty. Perfect. Let's go ask the tourist. The artist doesn't know anything. The tourist is back over here in the fountain room. There we go. Perfect. Yes, tourist. Tell me about this ID card. Wouldn't happen to recognize anything about it, would you? I do, but I couldn't tell you much. I've seen the logo before, at least. Overly designed, if you ask me, especially for a low-tier biker club. Biker club? What do you mean? Oh, I'm sure you're familiar with the concept, detective. There's just a bunch of names for him. Although I don't know what these folks get into specifically. Could be anything from their tuning their bikes and going on rides to sinking high-grade oil, if you catch my meaning. Or anything in between. I don't have to assume there's a bite bigger than you could chew in one night, detective. Especially since you've already got your paws full here. Ho 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 ho. I do, don't I? While in pursuit of resolving this mess, I've got some inquiries to make. Well, see you later, my friend. For now, I'm going to go see the line and see if this works out. No? Okay. I think that it's one of the 10-digit numbers that's used for the insurance. Uh, but surely the curator would know about that. Do you know anything about it, podcaster? No. The artist doesn't know anything about it. Those guys don't know anything about it. Yeah, I would assume that you know something about it, but it looks like you don't. Which is fair. I don't hate you for it. Is there any other characters that might know about it? Am I forgetting any characters right now? The tourist, punk podcaster, old timer, guide, critic, and artist. Yeah. Okay, no one too important. And nothing else in here. Just double check. Done all the inspections already. So perhaps we've got actual enough information to figure this out now. However, according to the... This will be the logs, right? ID logs. And it's not counterfeit. It was like replaced or removed. According to the ID logs, his ID was removed, I guess. Stabbed, slashed, revealed, recruited, paid. Or overridden. Maybe the museum logs. Maybe the alarm logs. Yes, okay, alarm logs. Okay. Let's do a little bit more reading and I'll be back with you. Okay, I think I've got it. I think so. Let's go back. Alrighty. I think that this is the punk. Was going to be paid by the client. Oh. I don't know what happened there. Paid by the client when he stole the gemstone, right? So maybe the client did it so that he wouldn't have to pay the punk. The student, perhaps? Because this will be about the ID, right? So the student hacked the ID. Actions is hacked. The ID of the punk to the alarm system or into the logs. So the gemstone could be stolen. Oh. revealed. The hack the identity of the punk into the maybe glass case could be lifted, right? Or opened. And maybe this one. What do you think? Shouldn't hack the ID of the punk into the logs so the glass case could be opened. Into the alarm? Aha, I knew I was under something. I thought we were nearing a closed case, but this is a real mess. It's like I've been led on some scavenger hunt. Could all be a massive conspiracy. No cat naps until we can say for sure. I think that's weird English. But anyway, I'll end it there. Thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, or subscribe. And in the meantime, I'll see you in the next one. See ya!